Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Personhood, Colorado will be on the ballot in 2014, and we're also going to talk about a story about a medical student who was in favor of abortion until he actually saw one performed. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, Liberty Counsel has been involved in the pro-life movement from the very beginning. In fact, our three pillars are the sanctity of human life, the family, and religious freedom. This issue of abortion is something that has impacted me because when I was a pastor, when I watched a video on abortion, that's when I ultimately was impacted by what I saw and realized how our faith must impact our public policy. That's what ultimately led me from the pastoral ministry to go into law school. This particular issue of abortion is something that is a blight to America. We've now killed over 50 million children since 1973. The good news, however, is that in Colorado, over 100,000 valid signatures have been put forth to have personhood on the ballot in Colorado in 2014.
And of course, the ACLU and Planned Parenthood and the National Organization of Women will throw millions and millions of dollars into their disinformation campaign and trying to undo once again the Personhood Amendment in Colorado. We hope and pray that it will pass this time around, but if it doesn't, at least it is drawing resources away from these murderous, and that's what they are because they are supporting abortion homicide, which is murder, these organizations that are funding and perpetrating abortion homicide, that are perpetrating murder, which is what Planned Parenthood does.
Well, this amendment only needed 86,000 valid signatures, 140,000 were achieved, and 110,000 of those were considered valid signatures by registered voters. So many more signatures than necessary were ultimately presented. This will be on the ballot in November 2014. It is called the Brady Amendment. The Brady Amendment was filed by a person by the name of Heather, whose son Brady was killed by a drunk driver when he was 38 weeks gestation, just weighed 8 pounds, 2 ounces, a little baby that she was carrying. Colorado law determined that the drunk driver could not be charged with Brady's death because he was not yet born and thus not yet considered a person. The Brady Amendment requires Colorado to recognize that there are 2 victims in cases like mine, she said. And obviously this is, I think, a big step forward. This will be a big issue in 2014.
Well, the science is unequivocal. The science is clear. It is, the left likes to use the term when they're talking about global warming alarmism. They like to say the science is settled. Well, here is an instance where the science is actually settled. A person is a person from the moment of conception. They are a human life in a different stage of development from the time of natural conception to natural death. And so around the country, many states are taking steps or are putting in place measures to recognize the humanity of the person in the preborn state. So this is very encouraging.
Well, it's really no longer a debate as to when life begins. It's a debate as to when you're going to protect human life. Life begins at the moment of conception. There's no question about that. That's medically and scientifically sound and proven. That debate's long gone. It's more of a philosophical debate when you're going to protect life. And so when you start moving down that slippery slope, then you also move not only past birth, but into early childhood as well, or people that have dementia or people that are elderly. You start cheapening life at one end of the spectrum, you cheapen it all the way through the spectrum as well. Well, there's a riveting story that I have read, and it is about a medical student who was going through medical school and was very much in favor of abortion. The statement or the testimony by this medical student says, I must say that until yesterday, I was strongly pro-choice. I am a pre-medical student, and being very scientific, I understood that the mass of cells that forms the fetal body is not often capable of survival before 24 weeks in the womb. I am also somewhat liberal and I believe that every woman should have the right to choose, and with what she did with her body, and that could potentially be growing inside of her, that woman should have the right to do that. So he knew all the slogans of the pro-choice so-called movement, the pro-abortion movement, was very strong in that position. And then while in medical school, was offered a pre-medical program at New York City, in which we are, he said, to shadow doctors and see all parts of the medical procedures. When given the opportunity to see an abortion, he did not hesitate to accept the offer. It was something new, edgy, and exciting that he had never seen. And so the testimony from this young person then goes into what this individual actually saw. And when he saw what happened in abortion, he completely changed his view.
Well, that's because he had all the nifty little euphemistic sound bites that the pro-abortion lobby puts forward, and he had digested all of those, and they had become part of his position on abortion until he actually saw the reality of an abortion. And the left's position on abortion and the reality do not track. And, you know, that one of their favorite slogans is "My body, my choice," and then they'll chant that over and over again. Well, no, it's and that's fine. But we're not talking about your body. It is not your body. It is not your choice. We're talking about the body of an individual, separate, completely separate human being that is alive. And when you kill that person, that's homicide. This student saw that finally, was able to make the connection to reality.
And here's some of the riveting statements. And apologize for the graphicness, but this is the face of abortion. He goes into the medical room. Doctors are there. They're putting on gowns. Looks just like any other place. The cervix was held open by a crude metal instrument, and a large transparent tube was placed inside of the woman. Within a matter of seconds, he says, the machine's motor was engaged, and blood, tissue, and tiny organs were pulled out of their environment into a filter. A minute later, the vacuum choked to a halt. The tube was removed, and stuck to the end was a small body and a head attached haphazardly to it. What was formed of the neck snapped. The ribs had formed with a thin skin covering them. The eyes had formed, and the inner organs had begun to function. The tiny heart of the fetus, obviously a little boy, had just stopped forever. The vacuum filter was open, and the tiny arms and legs that had been torn off of the fetus were accounted for. The fingers and toes had the beginnings of their nails on them. The doctors, proud of their work, reassembled the body to show me. Tears welled up in my eyes as they removed the baby boy from the table and shoved his body into a container for disposal. Since then, this individual has completely changed his view on the sanctity of human life and abortion. No longer theoretical, no longer a slogan. Here's a real human being that he saw actually brutally murdered inside a medical facility.
Heart-wrenching, Matt, but that is what occurs when an abortion occurs. And it is no wonder that Planned Parenthood and the multi-billion-dollar abortion lobby don't want this information in the public. You know, with the another Holocaust in Germany during World War II, the Nazi Germany took great pains to make sure that people did not see the murders that were occurring in the concentration camps and the horrific inhumanity that was taking place. Well, Planned Parenthood likewise does not want the murders that take place during an abortion and the mass inhumanity that takes place to be present. So they fight any disclosure that would actually tell women what is occurring during their abortion. They fight the ultrasound laws. They fight actual breakdown of what occurs during an abortion because, like in Nazi Germany, they rely on deception and covering the truth in order to carry out their homicidal policies.
Well, Liberty Counsel has joined with other pro-life ministries, including Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar of the 19 Kids and Counting reality TV series, to form a website. It's called lifeunited.org, lifeunited.org. It's a website that compiles a lot of pro-life information there for your resources and also helps organization as well. Go to lifeunited.org. That's lifeunited.org. Also remember Liberty Counsel in your prayers and financial support. If you know of questions or issues in your community affecting religious liberty, the sanctity of human life, or the family, call us at 1-800-671-1776. We also ask that you pray for the ministry and continue to support us financially. You can get our monthly newsletter, The Liberator, right there from the website lc.org, and you can make online credit card contributions at the website as well, or call us for additional information how you can be involved in this ministry to advance family, faith, and freedom. We'll see you next time.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.